Hello and welcome back to J.L. Smith. I'm Jeff Smith and we're here in the workshop today to show you how to take care of your flute. After 35 years working on instruments for professionals and students, I realized that musicians of all levels can benefit from a lesson on care of the instrument. Let me show you a few things. The first and perhaps most important aspect of caring for the flute is assembling it. I always hold the body section of the instrument on what's called the box or the head joint receiver. And notice I'm holding it in my left hand and I'm not touching any of the keys or the posts or anything like that. Next I'm picking up the foot joint and I'll hold either the C or the B key down, depending on if it's a B or C foot instrument. Hold it with my thumb, and that gives me just a little bit of leverage to start carefully twisting it back and forth to assemble it. I align the posts of the foot joint so that they align in the middle of the right hand section, but that's something that could be adjusted to taste, either back or forth. I continue to hold the head joint box in my left hand and I just carefully assemble the head joint. Now notice that I didn't hold the embouchure plate at all. I didn't grab it here. I see this happen quite a bit, and eventually it could bend the lip plate down a little bit, and that could totally change the performance of the instrument. So be very careful to hold down on this part of the instrument. And that's assembling the flute. If your case is designed with one of these flaps, take note of it. It's there for a reason. Often I see head joints come in the case like so, and of course when we put the body in, the G sharp now could come in contact with the head joint, and we often see a lot of little dents in this area of head joints. If you just tuck that head joint under the flap, it now protects it against that G sharp key arm. When moving from a closed hole to open hole flute, you might want to use open hole plugs. I recommend using the silicone variety, which are available in a couple sizes to fit the range of flute models. To install the plugs, center them in the hole and push them in with a finger. Push them deep enough so that they are below the surface of the key. This will help the musician get used to the feel and location of the holes. To remove the plugs, simply push them through with a pencil and they will fall out the tube. On some models, such as Miyazawa, the plugs need to be lifted from the top with a push pin. Miyazawa and similar instruments are designed with pad retaining bushings that intrude into the open hole. If you push a plug through on this style flute, the bushing can loosen and your pad might fall out. When getting used to the open holes, I recommend taking one plug out at a time. Start with the F. The first finger is the easiest one to control. Next, take out the A, and you now have one open hole key on each hand. The E is next, then either the G or the D, depending on which you have the most control over. When disassembling the instrument, I'll hold the instrument in the same position with my hands. Additionally, I'll be swabbing out the instrument as I disassemble. It's important to use either a Valentino flute wand or a wooden stick covered by a swab cloth. Make sure to wrap the swab cloth around the top of the rod. This helps guide the rod down the center of the instrument better and gets up closer towards the cork. Twist as you're moving the swab up the instrument. When you get the foot joint done, just put it in its case. Continue to swab. Put the body away. Finish swabbing the head joint. When you're putting the head joint back in the case, make sure you put it under the flap if there is one. Additionally, you may want to use a cotton swab to clean out the embouchure hole and get any moisture out of there as well. To keep the instrument looking its best, I'm going to wipe the fingerprints off every time I use it. I use a lint-free microfiber cloth for this. I always start with the head joint, and I'm holding the tenon end of the head joint very securely, just gently wiping off all my prints. Next is the foot joint, and I'm controlling the foot joint with a finger inside the body tube. I start with the keys and just gently go from back to front on the keys. I'm very careful not to touch the front of the pads. This is going to abrade the pads, shorten their life dramatically, and really change the performance of the instrument. Next, I do all the large surfaces and then put the foot joint back in its case. I do the same thing with the body, again keeping control of the body with the finger inside the tube. Start with the key work and then do the larger body sections. I suggest that you never use oil or grease on your flute. The only proper way to lubricate a flute is to completely disassemble it, and that's work that should be done by a qualified technician. To keep your instrument in top shape, it should be serviced annually, and at that time have a clean oil and adjust done. I hope you've enjoyed learning about how to care for your flute. For more information about flutes and other great products, visit us at jlsmithco.com and be sure to check out our Facebook page and Twitter feeds for regular updates on new products. And don't forget to sign up for our email newsletter for flute news, tips, and special offers. Until next time, this is Jeff Smith saying thanks for watching, and we'll see you back here soon.